Chapter 8 of Tractor Ballet Gone Bad as Todd and I are climbing over the raging waters trying to get out of the ravine. A casual observer might have thought that Todd was moving merely with slow, cautious deliberation. I knew better and was sick for it as I watched helplessly as he crawled out along over the water. Todd looked ill as he descended down the pond's edge on the ice beside me. The bank sloped well away from us, and the ice right at the edge seemed trustworthy. "How you doing?" I asked as he hunched, trembling and gasping beside me. "Not good," he admitted with a shudder. "I can't even feel my hands, Scott." "Trade gloves with me then, Todd. I'll go on ahead down to the end. It's easy here. The ice on the edge is solid, and you just lean on the bank and work your way along." "Okay," was all he said, fumbling with my gloves. I hastened down along the bank. I could have wept when I came to the end. I felt like puking as I stared in disbelief. It was beyond any wild imagination that anyone in any fashion could get out this way. No matter how you looked at it, believe me, I looked. Any attempt here was nothing short of suicide. The pond bottled into the ditch that had been dug out years ago. The ditch ran about 200 yards to the railway track. Open water swirled madly about as it chewed its way into the ditch with a foaming debris-filled tangle of sticks and branches. The water had undercut the bank in such a fashion that no one short of a professional mountain climber with an axe, rope, and Spider-Man's assistance would even consider it. I turned and fled back up towards Todd. "What are you coming back for?" Todd asked. "I'm doing okay." "We can't get out that way, Todd," I said, failing to keep my voice steady, not even considering attempting to conceal the desperation in my voice. What? What? We have to." "We can't, Todd. We can't. It's nothing short of suicide." "We can't cross the pond. We can't go back. We gotta get out down there." Todd, for obvious reasons, resisted the concept that there was no hope for escape at the bottom of the pond. At the same time, he knew the way the pond and the ditch were laid out, and he seemed to shrink into himself as I explained the details. Looking back from the slick gray splotchy ice, Todd looked at me with imploring eyes. "You sure about down there?" he pleaded. "I may as well sit right down here and get to freezing to death rather than even go back and look at it again, Todd." "Oh God, Todd, Scott. Oh God, Scott," Todd moaned as he slumped weakly against the bank. "I ain't got much left in me." I knelt down at the ice's edge, and Todd whispered, "Oh, Scott, are you sure?" His voice trailed off. We were far too exhausted in any sense further attempts to bolster our spirits through levity. "You stay here. Stay off the ice till I get across, Todd." I looked back up at him and he didn't reply. "Stay off the ice while I'm out there, you understand? Stay off the ice while I'm on it." Todd just nodded mutely. "Are you listening, Todd?" I asked with desperate exasperation. "We can't be on the ice together." Todd just continued to stare at me gravely. "Answer me, Todd. You gotta stay here till I get across." "Yeah," he said dumbly, still staring gravely down at me. "Stay off the ice till I'm across," I pleaded as I spread myself belly down and began to slither across the pond. I wasn't more than 2 body lengths before it became terrifyingly apparent the ice wasn't ice at all. It was more like a mat of frozen crystals floating on the water. I splayed my feet and my fingers and pressed the side of my face into the ice that wasn't really ice, concentrating to distribute my weight evenly. When I'd lift some weight off one limb to move forward, I'd feel one or more of the others sink into the surface. I pushed my face down to take some weight. As I pushed an arm forward, I'd move a leg only inches forward, trying to keep the weight spread on my torso. Sometimes I could feel the rushing waters below me push back when I transferred weight from one place to another to move forward. It was horrid. I wasn't even halfway across yet. I imagine I might have begun to pray about then, but Todd called out plaintively, "Why are you going so slow?" face down, literally inching along. I tried to explain to Todd, but he was too far gone. Why can't you hurry, Scott? I'm half froze. Stay off the ice. Just stay there, Todd. Why are you going so slow? Can't you go any faster? And so it went back and forth between us as I literally inched along, terrified. Todd would plead with me to hurry, and I'd beg him to stay where he was. I don't know if you begin to imagine how relieved I was when I felt the surface beneath me to begin to stiffen up. Look, Todd, I cried with unbridled joy as, rising on my knees and forearms, I began to crawl with all waste. Holy fuck, Todd, I cried in wild jubilation, dancing to my feet on the shore. I didn't think I was going to make it. I made it. Woohoo. Dancing in celebration. We're home free. Home free, Todd. Well, Todd was still hunched miserably against the far bank. I'd left a trail across the surface of the pond that was darkening as the frigid waters seeped to the surface. I mean, it wasn't ice. In my delirious state of having made it across the pond, I'd totally forgotten how done in Todd was. Stay there, Todd, I yelled. I'll be as quick as I can. I turned to go. No, Todd wailed. No, what do you mean no? I never thought I'd make it. That ice for sure isn't going to hold you, I cried in alarm, gesturing at the spreading stain I'd left behind. You can't leave me here, he wailed, his voice rising in tone. What do you think? I won't be coming back? I won't be more than 10 minutes. No, Todd wailed yet again. You gotta stay, Todd, I crawled across the pond, frightened by Todd's irrationality. I'll run like hell both ways. That ice will not hold you. I'll be back with a rope, an axe, and T-bars. I ain't staying here without you, he shrieked. Quick drink here. Todd's eyes scrunched shut and his face contorted in horror as he launched himself off the bank and out over the ice. No, Todd, I screamed in wild terror. Despite Todd's dilapidated condition, he vaulted a good distance out onto the ice, and with eyes still scrunched shut, head flung back, and a horror-contorted face, he began to run. Get down, Todd, I screamed hysterically. Todd's running. His first step holds. The second folds the surface up around his boot. His foot crashed through the ice, boot deep on the third. In hysterics, I'm screaming at Todd to get down, his head's thrown back, eyes still closed, arms pumping, knees rising, each stride seemingly to his chest. His fourth and fifth stride, he crashed through the surface. He's nearly halfway across the pond, as if in defiance of the laws of nature. He managed somehow to thrash forward another 2 strides. Todd flings his arms and lunges forward, his face a rictus of terror, agony, and horror. He lands on the surface. It gives away, but it gives him a body length towards me. I'm screaming. I'm crashing through the ice. I'm chest deep. My feet are on the bottom of the pond. Todd's arms are flailing in an exaggerated swimmer's crawl, his legs kicking. He disappears into the dark water. I have him by the collar of his coat. I'm hauling him backwards. He's kicking and flailing like a madman. I trip and fall over to my back as Todd swims and crawls over the top of me. Get off me, you fat sodden fool, I rage as I struggle in vain to throw off his panic-stricken bulk. Todd rolls off his back and I jump to my feet. We're on the shore. Todd's on his back, arms folded over his chest, trembling and gasping, raining curses down upon him. I give him a good swift kick in the ribs and realize my rubber boots are full of water. I drop to my hands and knees beside Todd and lift my feet to drain the boots. The spacey surrealism of panic begins to fade. What the hell's the matter with you, McIntyre? I bawled as I rose to my feet. I wouldn't have left you there. So sorry, Scott, Todd gasped and chattered. I'm sorry, I raged. You guys both killed, you fucking idiot. Todd's head seemed to be clearing, so I give him another kick in the ribs as the previous one had seemed lost on him. Sorry, Scott, he chattered, still lying trembling on the ground. For some reason, I guess I just couldn't bear the thought of staying here without you. I guess I panicked. Panicked? More like you lost your fucking mind. Come on, get the hell up. We ain't got long now. Shaking and trembling, Todd and I struggled up the gentle slope away from the pond. I'm half froze, Todd announced yet again. I ain't half froze no more, you know, you damn fool. You're all froze, I cursed in return. Thanks to you, I'm the one that's half fucking frozen. Sorry, Scott, so sorry, Scott Todd chattered. I paused when we were at the top of the slope. Can we run, Scott? I'm awful cold. Yeah, but stay with me. There's a lot of ice here, too. We're going to have to be careful. I'll follow you, Todd answered. The field we were in now, on the east side of the ravine, and the pond was rougher than the one that had brought us down, but sloped nonetheless back down towards the watercourse. Todd and I were hunched over, trembling and shaking as we stumbled, picking our way from hummock to hummock of grass protruding through the ice from one to the next. You're going the wrong way, Todd squawked. The house is back there. Todd wasn't mistaken. I was headed east. The house lay to the northwest. Look, I said, gesturing to the land. We got to get out and around that flat ice before we can turn north and get to the fence at the old tractor path. Or we'd have just been swept back down into the ravine again. Can we hurry, Scott? Todd pleaded. I'm awful cold. Todd and I averaged no better than a brisk walking pace as we hunched into the wind, shaking and trembling, often arm in arm, picking our way out and around, finally turning and heading due north towards the security of the fence at the tractor path. Our concentration focused on our footing and struggling. We didn't realize we were coming yet to another dire circumstance, and it lay right at our feet. Chapter 9 coming up.